Hello, everybody, and welcome back to One Hub Racing. We are here for another late night talk show, episode 14, after racing around Italy on Friday night. Some messy races to discuss, to say the least, and we're going to be joined by Liam and Dane Star. But a little bit of a change for this week, because rather than my former teammate Jono, I've got another former teammate of Odems alongside me for the chat show tonight. So, Odems, welcome to chat show.
Thanks, happy to be here.
And Italy, Odems, it's never been a track that's featured too much in the shorter seasons that we do, but it really threw up some fireworks on Friday night, particularly in the lower two tiers, the podium, the pinnacle tier, some really messy races.
Yeah, it's a relatively wide track, but a lot of drivers weren't giving each other that much space, it seems. In the podium tier, just a lot of front wing damage, just a lot of front wing damage, an absurd amount of front wing damage.
Yeah,
And
Odems is sorry, Jono is a little bit cross because he said to everyone, in the pre-race, like in the stewards report, he said, with the desync issue, you guys should, when passing each other, you should be giving, as much space as possible. And it's completely opposite of what we saw around Italy. A lot of the incidents, could have been avoided, in my opinion.
yeah, definitely. I think patience is just a word that gets thrown around a lot, and a lot of drivers just don't have that patience. Um, yeah, and I think that was on show on Friday.
Alrighty, well, let's head over to the podium tier, and we can take a look at the results. Your main man CXY took the win, started on the front row, on pole, and he dominated. Simple as that.
He did, yeah. It looked at times that Dane was gonna like challenge him. He was catching up by a few tenths of points, but CXY just had him sorted, and he put the hammer down at one point and just flown away from him. Won that pretty comfortably at the end.
So, do you think obviously
Only
he'd
driver
been
to get no
here?
penalties as well.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. Never really looked, particularly on the second stint when he got on those tires, he just pulled away from Dane, and Dane didn't really have an answer. But do you think he'll look at this as more, frustrated of what could have been had he, got given a space earlier on in the season?
Definitely, I think points people were saying that Bane Star is just walking away with this championship, but after CXY joined, he enjoyed us both really taking it to the Red Bull driver. So I think definitely if those two had sustained that level of pace that they have right now, we would be having a much more. It's a fairly interesting championship already, but a much more interesting championship if he was up there at the start.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, as we so Daystar finished second. Gaza, a much needed result not only for him but his Red Bull team after Red Bull failed to score in the last two races. So good result to see Gaza back on the podium. Let's talk about that first lap crash. I don't know if you've seen any of the footage from some of the drivers. It just looks messy. Just cars scrambling all over the track for the same position, and it ended for D-Boy Dan and Bougie, I believe, on the first lap.
Yeah, I saw Gazman went a bit deep. He actually avoided Nick. I thought he initially hit him, but he avoided him. But I think it was just desync that just sent Nick spearing, yeah, across the turn one, and he came back across into, was it Dweller? I don't think, yeah, it was Dweller, and Dweller was really annoyed at this, but there was not much Nick could actually do in that situation, considering he had just got blown up by air. But yeah, it was very messy. Yeah, such a narrow corner, turn one and two. It's so narrow. Going too wide is
There's so many
going too
cars as
wide.
well
Yeah,
heading there.
going too wide on itself is hard, but with so many cars, it's even harder.
All right, let's talk about, speaking of Dweller. Let's talk about well, there was a lot of talk about of his incident with Liam. Dweller, Buffy Dweller accusing Liam of doing it on purpose. We'll speak to Liam in a bit, but your verdict, since you've had chance to watch both drivers a few years back.
Uh, I don't. I think Liam could have given more space, but I don't understand Dweller's claims of it was on purpose. First of all, the only time you'll know a driver's taking you out on purpose is if that driver has nothing to lose. And Liam was what? He was in like fifth or sixth.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So there's no reason he would just take a driver out on purpose for no reason whatsoever.
They don't really
He
have
just take him out.
history either, do they?
Yeah, exactly. They don't have any history at all. They're both Scottish, aren't they? So like that's more of a reason that he wouldn't go out of his way to take someone out in the middle of the race on purpose. Um, so yeah, I think he just got way too heated. But yeah, I do think Liam could have afforded more space though.
Yeah, I have to agree as well. Since watching it back, I think particularly with the desync issues, you want to give the car when you're going side by side at 200 miles an hour, as much space as possible, both drivers. All right, let's talk about as we head further down the order. Joret finishing fifth, just ahead of Jonas, just behind Jonas. The gap extended on that championship. Had been closing for quite a while, quite a few races. But do you think realistically Joret's going to be able to take this title away from Danestar?
It'll be tough because he's been very inconsistent the past few races. Like even with Danestar's mistakes, he hasn't capitalized as he should have. Now that Danestar is sort of getting a second win, I think Jordan's gonna need to. He's just had a messy race after a messy race, just mistakes and incidents, and he's just gonna need to cut that out immediately if he wants to stand any chance of taking that championship off Danestar.
Stevie G had a good view of the incident at the beginning. Saw his footage of it. But he finished in eighth, just behind him. Only one face. She took her first points of the season. Started from 15th on the grid. Have to say, a good result for her. She was pretty pleased with that, and everyone was pretty happy for her as well.
Yeah, I was looking at all the drivers that were behind her after the pit stops, and I was just hoping that none of them would overtake her, and they did. But a few other drivers blew up, fortunately, and I don't think there's anyone in the paddock that doesn't have a little smile when they see that only one FaZe has gotten her first points of the season.
Alrighty, let's move
I
on to the
believe.
pinnacle. Carry on.
Before we go, does she have the more points, the same amount of points as Zeke, or does Zeke have more?
I'll have to go and check. Zeke obviously didn't take part in Friday's race, so I'm pretty sure the next driver's on 6 points when I had a look the other day. But I'll check that in a second. Pinnacle tier. Where do we even begin? What a messy um what a messy race. The qualifying obviously was wet. Sam, our championship leader, by a long way, crashed his car, so he wasn't able to set a lap time. So disappointing for him. The race was dry though. And on the front, Don Cole and Reflo, as the lights went out, they got close, and when Reflo passed Donkor, it seemed to me like Reflo definitely had the pace on the McLaren driver.
Yeah, I mean, Reflo is quick. This isn't anything new. He dominated the first two rounds of the season, and he went on a bit of a mini hiatus. He missed 2 weeks, and before that, he was losing ground to Sam. But he is quick on his day, and he has been very unfortunate in the past few races. But yeah, Donko definitely met his match. Not that Sam was a walkover in the first place.
Alrighty, and virtual safety car came out almost immediately, so drivers obviously had to back off and keep their positions with the incidents that took place behind them. But then things just took a turn for the worse when the full safety car came out. We saw Reflo again make another mistake by not coming into the pits.
Yep, looks like it.
He sailed past, and obviously we saw in Baku where costing the win his incident with the safety car, but yeah, choosing not to
It is a
come
bit
in and
traumatic.
then pitting the second lap and ended up behind his championship rival Sam.
It seemed he was maybe a bit traumatized from last week where he pit, and they put the wrong tire, so he wanted to give them an extra lap to come up with a decision.
It's a decision that ultimately paved way to the end of his race. Behind the safety car, he had contact with Lukey, and talk to me about this. Odems, do you think he gave up too easy?
Yeah, I think I kind of understand where he's coming from. Where like in a situation where all he wants to do is have fun, and throttling damage is like the least fun thing you can have in a league race. And once you get that, you just sort of think, why am I here anymore? There's no point. It's just so crippling. So I think he did give up too easy, but in the context and the relativeness of the fact that he's just here, to enjoy himself because he's not really in the championship fight anymore, then I can understand it.
Alrighty, as the race went on, the safety car came in, we had this glitch where the yellow flags were out for the entirety of the rest of the race. So any driver that completed an overtake got a legal overtake 5 second time penalty. So thank you very much for that, Codemasters. What a fantastic addition that is to F1 2018. But a man that came through it all, kind of under the radar, to take the win was Matt.
Yeah, he did. Matt has always been in the shadow of his teammate Sam. It seemed today that he escaped that shadow, and obviously helped by Sam crashing out in qualifying, he took that win.
Yeah, it was a very good result for him. A much needed confidence boost, I imagine. White Fountain, how does he do it? How does he always manage to just stay out of trouble, and finds himself in second place?
Yeah, he's a very solid driver. I think he also uses cockpit cam, I believe. So I think that just sort of disciplines the driver to stay out of trouble using cockpit cam. And he's done it once again. He's taken a very solid result. I believe he's third in the standings, is he?
He might be after today's race, after Friday's
Yeah,
race.
definitely high up there. Anyways, and it's well deserved because he's a very talented driver.
Sam on the podium again, managing to, after Don Cole basically blew his car up, Reflo called it a day. He managed to get fight his way back to the third position, continue a good run of podiums this season. CSS as well, a good day for Sauber. He finished in fourth position. Obviously, you know all these 5 second penalties that these drivers got will be removed. So when that's worked out, obviously, the result could be a different order to what we're discussing now. But Scorpion in fifth, TK and Jor sixth and seventh again, both Haas drivers in the points. Where do you think they can? We spoke to TK a little while ago. Where do you think those Haas guys can go from there if they keep scoring points with both cars?
Yeah, those two seem to be the most evenly matched pair on the grid. They're always within each other. So and they always do score decent points. So if they can keep that up, who knows where they can go? Especially if they can get that a bit higher up. If they can score decent points, if they can finish near each other but higher in the points.
Yes, yes, Mark. Jono is. He just sent me some. He was taking him forever. He said so. No, he was always going to miss this talk show, so we got Odems in. But yeah, he did say to me earlier on this evening that the stewarding was taking forever. But hey, that's the way it goes. Sometimes he always does a good job, so I'm sure he'll nail it. Odems, let's move on to your tier. VSR Blizzard finally. It only took him another 13 rounds to get his second win
Yeah, he did. Blizzard,
from 14th as well.
he's such a stupidly quick driver. Like there isn't a day where I'm practicing with him. He just doesn't set a lap that just sits me down. That just makes me think maybe I'm not as good at this game as I think I am. And he didn't actually
I
get
could
a
have
lap
told
in
you
today
that.
because he didn't get a lap in today because he actually binned it. But yeah, he's just so quick. And yeah, he was lapping about like a second a lap quicker than Jesse, who's quick in his own right as well.
Yeah,
And
Jesse did
yeah,
Jesse's. I believe that's two pole positions now in the last few weeks, isn't it, for Jesse?
yeah, he got one in Britain and he got one in Italy. I remember putting in the chat a screenshot of him being third in the world in Italy. I was like, what's going on here? So he definitely showed that he was. Although if I didn't crash out, I definitely would have beaten him. But he definitely showed he's quick over a lap.
Yeah, he's maybe just missing that final piece. If he's got the one lap pace, he just needs that consistency in the race to be able to back it up and get his first win. But MLA, your good friend, somehow found his way onto the podium again.
Yeah, his jamminess knows no bounds. No penalties once again, and he was able to just get on that podium. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, as Odin goes, what we'll do is we'll finish the prestige results in a minute, and I will get Liam and Dane Star into talk show, and we can start chatting to them and finding out how their race went on Friday. So yeah, if you just bear with us a second, everyone. Alrighty, so we'll await for them to join, and then first question is obviously going to be straight to Liam about his incident with Buffy Dweller, which actually involved Danestar a little bit as well. So Danestar, welcome to the party. Just make sure your voice is set to be shared. How was? Let's talk about your race then. Italy. Is it a track that you enjoy, or is it not one of your favorites?
It's kind of a mid. I do enjoy some of it, but some of the corners, like Ascari and turn three, I just really dislike. But my race went quite well. Qualified second, finished second, nice and clean. But after my poor run of form, I just wanted to get a race, get a podium under my hands once again, and not bottle it. So
What,
yeah, it
what
went pretty well.
was there a point where you thought you could challenge CXY and beat him, or did you feel he always had the pace on you?
Um, Probably the end of the first stint, I was maybe gaining on him a tiny bit, but yeah, CXY just had the all round pace. So yeah, he was
Alrighty.
quicker than me.
Do you think obviously we spoke about him just earlier. Do you think had he been here from the start of the season, he would have been right up there with you two, really scrapping it out for this title?
Oh, definitely. He is a very quick driver, and if he was here in Australia, he would be fighting for the championship, no doubt.
All right, Liam. Let's head over to you. Involved in a lot of controversy after or
Yeah.
during and after the race on Friday.
Yep.
We've
Yeah.
seen obviously it on the stream where it happened very quickly, and then we've seen Buffy's
Mhm.
view, your view.
Yeah.
Talk us through the incident from you sitting in the car.
Well, I've done what I usually did, really, going down the straight. I just left the car pointing in a straight line, took my hands off of the movement to stop moving the car so I can give him plenty of space to go around my outside. And it just looked like he moved across a slight bit too early, and I tagged the rear of his car and he spun.
There was accusations from him that it was deliberate, but as
Yeah.
myself and Odem's discussed, you had nothing to gain by or no history between the two of you. So
Yeah.
just to clear it up, it definitely wasn't deliberate.
No, I've never really, I've no intentions of deliberately crashing into anyone at all. I just want to go out there and do my best, really.
And what did you make of Italy? Because it was quite a messy race from when the lights went out. Talk us
Well,
through your race. How did it go for you?
I qualified fourth and then got a not so bad start, but got front wing damage on lap one. So I had basically damage control first stint, and then I pitted around lap eight or something for mediums, and then got overtook by the two Mercedes cars. And they were just too quick, so I had a pretty quiet race until the end.
Alrighty, good stuff. Odems, are you back with us yet, or are you still away? No, he's still away. All right, we'll have to wait for
I'm
him
back.
to. Oh, you're back. We've got Danestar and Liam in with us. We've already discussed the incident with Buffy Dweller. We've discussed with Danestar his rivalry with CXY, and his race in Italy. Do you have a question for these boys?
Yeah, for Dane, I have to ask. You get nervous, as the lights come out, the formation lap, you're on the formation lap, you settle into your seat. You get like, do the nerves kick in then? Do you just sort of think, oh my god, it's race day?
Um, yeah, sometimes, especially on the tracks I'm not very good at, like Hungary and Belgium. Yeah, nerves do kick in sometimes.
Okay. And Liam, which driver do you think that, the driver that maybe has gotten the best of you in certain races that most of the time, do you think that you can, pick up your form and beat? I'm not sure. I've got to be probably my teammate. He's surprised me quite a bit this season with how quick he really is. He's caught me off a few races when I've been off form, and I'm really happy to see him back challenging.
Liam, Renault's currently fifth in the standings. Um, you would have closed on Haas in Monza. I don't know the official score, but do you think they're a realistic target for yourself and Stevie to catch before the end of the season? We already know that Jamie's put Stevie as his main rival for the rest of the season.
I think it's reasonable that we can do it if we both stay consistent and score decent points week in, week out, then I don't see why not.
Alrighty, let's talk Singapore because it's is it Singapore next or Russia next?
Yeah.
Singapore next. Tire attempts are going to be the talking point all throughout the week. What do you think is going to be your kind of strategy heading in with knowing that everyone's going to be struggling to keep their tires under control?
Do you want me to go first or Dave?
Yeah, go for it, Liam.
Okay, well, I haven't really got a clue how it. Well, I haven't had really many issues with tyre overheating this year, but I'm not too sure on the strategy, so I'll definitely put in a few races before it just to get a hang for the strategy, and then go for it and go out and do my best on Friday.
And Dane, what about yourself? We know tires aren't your best friend so far this season. Do you think Singapore's going to be a track where you struggle?
Yeah. Yes. Maybe break some new records tire temps wise. Maybe get into the 120 degrees. But I'll go for the two hardest compound tires and see where that takes me.
Awesome stuff. Odems, let's talk about your race on Friday. What happened?
What happened was not a very good driver. So when the rain came down, me being not a very good driver, didn't know how to handle it. So I almost spun and put it in the wall. And then because I'm also again extension of me not being a very good driver, I I shot my tires. I pit early for more inters, and then it dried out like 2 laps later. So I finished in. No, I didn't finish. Sorry, I crashed in the last lap. Yes.
Good stuff. So staying consistent, as always, for Mr. Odems. Your teammate finally, had a bad race, wasn't able to, keep things together in Italy. Were you on the party with him? Do you know what happened to him?
Yeah, I think he had an incident at the start. Yeah, I think he had an incident at the start. He had to pit early, and he was thinking of giving up, but he had to pit very early for front wing damage, and he was so far back. But once everyone pit, he was still just nowhere, and he still had to make an extra pit stop. So, fair play to him for persevering. What he did, but eventually, no man's land. So a bad day for Red Bull.
Yes, not a good day for Red Bull. Sauber though, closing that gap. VSR just finishing fifth. Obviously Blizzard took the win, closed the points gap. By 20 points on Mercedes. So that'll bring it down to 113. We know Julian won't be here next week as well. Do you think Mercedes can be overhauled before the end of the season?
It'll take something because Julian is stupidly consistent. Like he's insanely consistent. He's like a robot. So it'll be very tough to overhaul it. If Josh can just stop getting penalties and beat MLA, then he definitely has a chance on that front. But it's going to be mighty big ask for Blizzard to just consistently beat Julian like that.
Alrighty, Liam, this next one's for you. You're right at the halfway point in the standings, currently in 10th on 58 points. Is that something that you're happy with at this stage of the season, or do you feel you've underachieved, overachieved? How do you feel in terms of your points tally?
I think I've underachieved a bit, but considering how competitive, I'm not surprised I'm that far down. But I'm still disappointed with how bad my finishing record's been this season. It's just unbelievable.
I take it that's something you plan to improve for the remaining races.
Yeah, that's the plan anyway, to try and finish every race, but knowing me, anything can happen with my Wi-Fi. I was
Alright, Dane's.
desyncing through the floor in Hungary.
Yeah, there was you did have some desync issues, didn't you? But
Yeah.
what it's never going to be as bad as your good friend Buffy Dweller. So
Exactly. I
yeah.
haven't disconnected in the middle of the race yet, but it's on the card still.
All right, Danestar. Everyone at the start of the season was saying you should be moved up. You've won the championship. It's all over. The gap's going to be slightly bigger now, just over 50 points. But it's definitely not over. You haven't had the best run of results recently. Do you feel it's slipping away, or do you still feel comfortable?
Still feel like I can win the championship. Now I've got my bad run of form out of the way. Can start to get back on the podium and go for race wins once again. But yes, wouldn't say I'm not worried about the championship just yet. Still think I got it.
Awesome stuff. Odens, we spoke to Ollie, I believe it was last week, with Red Bull. Do you think he definitely thought it was achievable to catch Mercedes, but do you think it's something that's a realistic target for your team?
No, not even slightly. No. Um,
So is second
no.
second you think the best you can achieve?
Second, no. I think we should aim for third. I think third. I'd be very happy with third. I think that'd be the highest. Yeah, joint highest constructors finish for me. So yeah, I'd be happy with third. Well, I think just maybe just not look. I feel like every time I look at the standings before the race, and I plan out where I could possibly gain points, where I could possibly lose points, is when I have a bad race. So I think I should just keep that all out of my head. I think that's the best way to just keep it out of your head.
What other season did you finish third? Was it us in season 7
Yeah, it was.
with Mercedes? Good stuff. Alrighty, final set of questions then for all three of you. Round 14's done and dusted. We don't have that many races to go. Danestow, you're obviously involved in the championship battle, but at what point do you start thinking about, teams and teammates for next season?
When it's over, wanna continue working with my current teammate Gaz and make sure we could seal the constructors. No point thinking ahead just yet. So yeah, just hoping to finish and secure the constructors. Then I'll think about my next teammate.
Awesome stuff. And Liam, same question to you.
Oh, sorry, I was paying attention again.
That's right. Yeah, it's just about at what point, as we've done 14 rounds, you start thinking about next season, what team you could be applying for and
Um,
teammates.
I'd probably just focus on that once the season's over. Just get this season over and done with, and then focus on next season on what team I'm going to be with and who's my teammate. That's the best way for me.
Awesome stuff. Odens, what about yourself?
Um, I usually don't think about teammates until like the last minute. I always need to fix that. So usually something I like in my head, but by the time I do give it enough thought, the person I wanted has already been snapped up. Last season I got the person I wanted, but this was terrible, so I regret that immediately. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Alrighty, we head to Singapore next week for the podium tier at 7 p.m., Pinnacle tier at 8 p.m., and Prestige tier at 9 p.m. We are expecting another busy one, guys. Imagine what the steward's office is going to be like. We might get some safety cars, maybe not. Depends if the game wants to work properly. But either way, you excited for next week? All of you. Liam, start with you.
Yeah, but considering what Monaco was like, we didn't really get. It was chaotic, but it hasn't been as chaotic as what Monza or Spa has been. So I'm not too sure about the safety car, but I think it'll be a hectic race.
Dane, what about yourself? Do you think CXY is going to be beatable there?
Yes, indeed he will.
There we go, confidence, like it. Odems, Singapore, it's your favorite track on the calendar. Absolutely love it. Spend most nights going to bed dreaming about it. You looking forward to it?
I think I'd rather jump out of a plane. and do another race at Singapore. Regardless of whether I had my wheel or not, I just hate the track with a passion. And then you add an element like tire temperatures, which just makes me hate it even more. It just makes me sick, really. I can't explain my hatred enough for Singapore, and I cannot wait until that race is over.
Alrighty, well, there you have it. Jumping out of planes. We can arrange that definitely, Odems, before next week's race. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Best of luck next week in Singapore. Hope you all have a clean and steady race. I'm looking forward to watching all three tiers again. As I said, podium tier at 7 p.m., pinnacle tier 8 p.m., prestige tier at 9 p.m. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. At One Hub Racing. And guys, once again, thanks for joining us. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll be back next week.